welcome back everybody to the challenge brief history lesson, and this week's brief history lesson is on the Boston Brawler himself. That's right, the one, the only Chris Tamburello, or as we better know him in the challenge world as CT. Now, CT made his MTV debut on The Real World Paris, where his intimidating stature, his short fuse, and bigger-than-life personality made him a shoo-in candidate for the Real World Road Rules Challenge. And not too long after that show wrapped up, he made his MTV Challenge debut on the 8th season of the challenge called Inferno, where he only saw one elimination in his rookie season, and that was against Shane, and he won. He made it all the way to the finals, and his team got second place. That's right, in a two-team format, his team lost, but they still had money in their bank account at the end of the day, and he was able to take home $11,000, so that's not too bad in his rookie season. The next season he was on was season 10 called Inferno 2, where he arguably had a better season than his rookie season, as he didn't see a single elimination. He made it all the way to the finals, and his team still took home second place. That's right, but they had money in their bank account as well, so at the end of the day, he got to take home $10,000. So just to do a recap, in his first two seasons of the challenge, he was able to make 2 finals appearances and take home $21,000. That's really, really impressive. Now, the next season CT was on was the duel, where he was looking to dominate. He was looking for a challenge championship, but what he got? Well, he found love in Diem Brown. That's right, when the two met, they had an instant connection, they had instant chemistry, they couldn't be separated, and they helped themselves throughout that whole game. They shared their first kiss on screen, and CT saw 2 eliminations during that season. He won one against Evan, and then right before the finals, he went up against Brad, and in that elimination, they had a log. You had to push the log and push your opponent to the side, get to a flag, unclasp the flag, and the first person to unclasp their flag wins, gets to go on to the finals. However, CT got to his flag first, and he just ripped that thing, and he tried to tell everybody that he unclasped it and he got it. However, he ripped the flag. Video doesn't lie. He was pissed, on the verge of another finals, and he was DQ'd, he was disqualified. The next season CT was on was Inferno 3, and let me tell you right now, he did fantastic in the first 2 installments of the Inferno series. He should do great in this 3rd season. However, it didn't work out that way. He got terribly drunk and punched Davis in the face, and he was DQ'd for being violent towards another castmate. And fun fact about that season, the person that was leading the cavalcade for CT to be disqualified was none other than Johnny Bananas, who was on the other team, the good guys team, which I thought was funny. Maybe he was young back then. Maybe he was still a good guy deep down inside. The next season CT was on was Gauntlet 3, where this was one of the most dominant performances by a single team in challenge history. It was vets versus rookies, and let me tell you, the vets had some dominant people on their team. They had dominant challengers on their team. They were running through the rookie team as they won 10 out of 15 daily challenges. CT never saw a single elimination. He made it to the finals. They had more people. They dominated throughout the whole season. They should be able to win this finals easily. However, they had a major meltdown, a major breakdown. They were unable to win this one. And it's gotta be heartbreaking if you were on the vets team, because on paper, this was CT and Diem's best options and best chances of getting their first challenge championship underneath their belts, but alas, it eluded them yet again. The next season CT was on was the Duel 2, and this one needs a bit of context that stems back from Gauntlet 3, and on Gauntlet 3, CT got drunk a handful of times, and him and Diem got into major vocal battles. They were yelling at each other a lot, and it was really, really bad. Jump to the off season, and Diem talked to CT about it, and she decided that she wanted to pursue her career first, and that maybe in 5 years they could try to strike up another romantic relationship and see where things could go from there. CT, upon hearing that news, hated it. He absolutely despised what Diem was saying to him, and coming into this challenge, he hated it. He hated it so much he got drunk yet again. He was making out with castmates. There was rumors that he hooked up with Siobhan, and when Diem talked to him about it or confronted him about it, CT threw her words back in his face and says, why do you care? You don't want to be with me. You want to do career first, baby. Yeah. See me in 5 years. That's what you said. And Diem, upset with this, talked to Adam. Adam and CT never saw eye to eye, and by the night's end, CT's fist was seeing Adam's eye. As they were in a brawl, producers had to step in, break these guys apart. CT wanted to, quote unquote, rip his head off and eat it. Producers wouldn't allow him to do that. They both got in the cars and were DQ'd from this game, and CT was out yet again, episode 1, for fighting. Now, the next season CT was on, he was not part of the original cast list. That's right, he was back on the challenge as a mercenary on season 20 called Cutthroat, and this was a historic event because this was the first time mercenaries were even put into the challenge game. A little context heading into this elimination: Bananas and Tyler Duckworth were gonna go into an elimination against each other. They wanted to earn their stripes in this season, and Johnny thought, hey, I'm gonna put myself up because I know I could beat Tyler if I have to. And so they thought they were gonna go up against each other, but TJ was like, nah, I have a better idea. Let's bring in the mercenaries, where Jen and CT came in ready to go into this elimination. And in this elimination, it was Johnny and CT were going to be strapped back to back to each other. And on this floor was going to be 2 barrels. You had to wrestle your opponent inch by inch, or so on paper, inch by inch, and knock over this barrel on your side. And if you do that, you win. Well, CT decided he was going to do it a little bit easier than doing it inch by inch, because once TJ blew that air horn, he just stood up like normal, walked over like this was a Sunday stroll with Bananas just strapped to his back, hence the Bananas backpack moniker that this elimination has been given, and he just bent that barrel as he just threw himself and Johnny into that barrel. Needless to say, Johnny was eliminated in Cutthroat by CT, and CT just showed how dominant of a force he was. Now, the next season CT was on was Rivals 1, and you could probably guess who he was partnered up with. That's right, you guessed it right. It was Adam, who he punched in the face a couple of seasons before, and despite them not seeing eye to eye, despite them aligning themselves with different parts of the house, they still worked well. They made it very, very far. They saw 2 eliminations together. They won against Evan and his partner, and then they went up very late into the season, going up against Johnny and Tyler in the T-Bone elimination. The CT train got a couple of good licks on them. However, Johnny got his revenge as Johnny and Tyler beat them, sent them home. Also, fun fact about that season, Laurel and CT had a bit of a showmance on that show. Fun fact. I just wanted to throw that in there. Why not? The next season CT was on was Battle of the Exes, where this is now the final piece of this like Duel 2 Night 1 fiasco puzzle, as CT and Diem were partnered up together. And just for everyone to know, and some context coming into this season, they hadn't spoken to each other since the whole Duel 2 fiasco. That's right, they hadn't even become Facebook friends, they said. They came into the season not knowing how they would work as partners, and they had a bit of a stumbling blocks in the beginning. However, they had a fantastic season. They never saw an elimination. They made it far, and by the end, they were actually working on like their friendship and maybe a relationship. You never know. They did that will they, won't they kind of thing going into it, and they got really, really far into the season. They made it to the finals, and during that finals, this was one of the hardest finals, I think, as they had to climb this mountain peak, and CT, after drinking goat's blood and doing all this stuff, he was having a tough time in this elevation. He was just laying down in the snow, just dying, and doing his best Paulie impersonation and dying, and he finally was able to get the strength, walk up this mountain, and Diem and CT were able to take home 2nd place. Oh my gosh, they were so close. It was a very, very good outing. However, it wasn't 1st place, and like Ricky Bobby says, if you're not 1st, you last. The next season CT was on was Rivals 2, where he was paired up with Wes. Look, they're both very hard-headed, they're both stubborn, they're both these big ego personalities, and this all stems from Rivals 1, where Wes and CT didn't see eye to eye. Wes threw his bed out of the bedroom, out the window, and CT went on to berate Wes and yell in his face for like hours on end, all night. It was like mental warfare, as he was just yelling at him profanities and every name in the book from like 1 a.m., 12 a.m. to 6 in the morning. It was absolutely nuts. Well, they were partnered together and they were a team to be reckoned with. They never saw an elimination. They were the best of brains and brawn. They absolutely dominated and took home first place, winning against Frank and Johnny and Marlon and Jordan. The next season CT was on was Free Agents, where he was ready to defend his crown and he had a wicked cool beard. He was winning a ton during that season and he only faced 2 eliminations. He went up against Leroy and won in the Wrecking Wall, and then he had to go up against Bananas right before the finals in the pyramid puzzle, or the puzzle pyramid elimination. And historically, CT has been better at puzzles than Johnny. However, in this elimination, Johnny was just a little bit quicker than CT, a little bit more brain power. Maybe he had some walnuts before he went into this elimination and was able to win and send CT home right before the finals. It was absolutely crazy. I thought CT was gonna win, go into that finals and absolutely dominate yet again, but it just did not happen. It was Johnny's time to shine and CT was sent home right before the finals. Oh my gosh, it was so close. The next season, CT was up on Battle of the Exes 2, where he was partnered up with Diem yet again. The two hadn't really talked to each other. They were acquaintances throughout the season, but this was one of the first seasons they were back together since Battle of the Exes 1 and Rivals 2. And CT seemed a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more empathetic with Diem, and was kind of showing a softer side and how he wanted to get back together with Diem, maybe see where things could go, but Diem was keeping him at an arm's length. And leading into this season, Diem's ovarian cancer had come out of remission. She went back on chemo for a while, and that's why she had a little bit of a hiatus from the challenge season, but she was medically cleared to come back on this season, and CT was ready to work things out and to dominate like they did in Battle of the Exes 1. However, Diem came down with some medical illnesses early on in this season, and she went out on episode 3. She was medically DQ'd from this game. In episode 3, CT left with her. This season of the challenge, Battle of the Exes 2, had premiered on January 2015, and a couple of months earlier in November of 2014 that Diem and Ryan Knight both had passed. It was really sad and a really hard gut punch to know that somebody as beautiful and a great competitor as Diem had fallen ill and had passed away. And upon this news, CT had taken some hiatus off from the challenge game. He came back in limited capacity. He came back in Bloodlines with Diem's little sister to show off how to do a daily challenge, and he also came in back as a mercenary. However, he did not come back to the full challenge season until season 29, called Invasion of the Champs, where he came in as part of the twist in that season, where a handful of champs came in a third of the way through the season to battle it out to get some money. And CT was showing off his new dad bod, and he had a son during his hiatus from the challenge, and he did really well in that season. He was safe majority of the season. He won one daily challenge. He had to go up against one of the GOATs of the challenge in Darrell Taylor in the elimination right before the finals, in the not so fast elimination. And let me tell you, he was coming in as a pretty much a underdog, and CT was able to master these knots, win against Darrell, go into the challenge finals and Invasion of the Champs, pick the right partners for every stage of the game, and he won. He had that motivation of wanting to win for his kid, and he did it. He had a newfound passion, newfound motivation, and won Invasion of the Champs, grand prize money, getting his second challenge championship underneath that belt. And then he was back for the next season called Dirty 30, where he had a bit of a flub in customs, but was able to make it into the game in episode 2. He showed up into the house, he won some daily challenges, he made it very far into the game. He was actually purged late in the game, but luckily there was a redemption house. He was able to redeem himself, get back into the main game, get back to the finals, back-to-back final appearances, and he took home third place this time, but third place is still great. He got like $15,000. That's gonna add to your bank account. That was fantastic right there, including the bank accounts that were happening in Invasion of the Champs. CT took season 31 off from the challenge, but he was back for Final Reckoning, where him and his partner Veronica shared a timeshare in the Redemption House for like the whole season until they were purged out of this game when they weren't picked to play in the Redemption games. So that was an early exit for CT. But then CT was back in Season 33 War of the Worlds, where he was put into a double elimination against Kyle, against JP, and he lost with JP, so he was sent home in episode 4. Yet another early elimination for him. But now he's back in Season 34 War of the Worlds 2, and he came in as a recruit. The US team did not want to pick him, so he went to the UK team and he had to survive. He had to work hard to survive. He aligned himself with the majority of the numbers. I know people don't want to hear about the numbers. They don't want to hear about how CT played leading into the finals. I get it. Nobody wants to hear numbers after this season. However, he did what he had to do to survive. Granted, we didn't like a lot of the decisions that were made on his end. However, when it counted, he made a move to keep the UK team strong. He survived all the way up to the finals. He made it through the finals, even the mid-final purge, got to the end, and won this season, getting his 3rd challenge championship underneath his belt, taking home $250,000, stamping his challenge legacy that much stronger, and just absolutely solidifying him as one of the GOATs of the challenge. And if that wasn't enough, he did 3 spin-off seasons of the challenge where he did Champs vs. Pros and was eliminated in episode 6, but he did 2 seasons of Champs vs. Stars 2017 and 2018 and won both of those, winning over $100,000 for the FIGHT Foundation, and he's doing it in style. He's absolutely dominant. But what do you think about CT? Let me know that in the comment section below. Do you stand CT or can you not stand CT? Let me know that in the comment section below, and just give me your favorite CT moment. What's your favorite quote? What's your favorite line? What's your favorite season of CT? I want to know everything you have to say about CT down there in the comment section below. And while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge videos, more NFL predictions, and more X on the Beach Peak of Luck, and more challenge brief history lessons. But until then, peace.